Electric vehicles are quickly proving themselves to be the quickest accelerating cars in the world. It all started with the Tesla Model S Plaid, but now we are starting to see electric cars get even faster with vehicles like the Rimac Nevera, the upcoming Lotus electric car, just so many incredibly fast cars that absolutely destroy their gas-powered counterparts. Today I'm bringing you a review of this 2023 Audi RS e-tron GT, although because we already have pricing for 2024, I just want to give you the caveat that at the end I will be telling you how much this car costs in the 2024 model year, but the one that we're looking at is technically a 2023. Now, I had the chance to review an Audi RS e-tron back when it first came out in the 2021 model year. Be sure to go ahead and check out that video. I review a gorgeous Tango red example. And now I'm going to see how the RS e-tron GT has held up now that there are faster, more competitive options out there, because when I first drove this, this was one of the quickest cars in the world. It still is actually the quickest car that Audi sells. So let's take a deep dive on the RS e-tron GT and find out if it is still a strong electric option in today's market. I mean, first things first, we've got to talk about the styling of the RS e-tron GT, because I think this is an area where Audi, or should I say Porsche, absolutely nailed this car. So if you didn't already know, the e-tron GT is very heavily related to the Porsche Taycan. The two share motors, battery, platform, all of that kinds of things. So this is the most Porsche Audi that money can possibly buy. There is a regular e-tron GT, or you can get this, the RS version, which is a little bit more extreme. The one that I'm driving this week is finished in a Ascari blue, which is sort of like a deeper blue. I think it looks really gorgeous. One change that Audi has made, I believe for the 2023 model year, is that you can see the center here is body color. That used to be all black on the RS version, and it used to be sort of silver here in the middle on the regular e-tron GT. Now they are all going to be body color no matter what. You used to have to opt for that. I like it a lot better with this body color grille. I think it looks almost like a regular gas engine car if you didn't know any better. The black ring around it, I'm still not 100% sold on. I kind of wish it was all body color, but it is a little bit distinctive to make the RS e-tron GT look a little bit different than the gas-powered cars. We've got matrix LED headlights on the RS e-tron GT. They are gorgeous looking, and they do some really cool animations when you fire up the vehicle when you unlock it at night. The car rides on 20-inch wheels as standard, and you get these really neat bright orange brake calipers. Now, the wheel pattern is not my favorite, but it is probably a little bit better for range. You can get a 21-inch wheel, but I should maybe warn against that because it is a very expensive proposition to do so. It's part of like a $6,500 exterior carbon package, but then you also have to add carbon ceramic brakes. If you want those, you have to get the 21-inch wheels. So we're talking like $13,500, and I know this is a very expensive car, but that is a lot of money to spend basically on wheels and brakes. Now you'll notice that we do have a charge port over here. This is going to be our DC fast charging port. So if you want to get your fast charge, this is the side that you're going to be doing it on. But the interesting thing about the e-tron GT and the Porsche Taycan, which they share platform, is you get another charge door on this side. No DC on this side, but you can do a level 2 J1772 plug on this side. This is one of the few vehicles I've ever seen that has a charge door on each side, mainly just for convenience. You know, if you have, you know, a plug on one side of your garage, or maybe your summer home, you have it mounted on the other side. It's just a little bit of a convenience thing, and I'm kind of happy that Audi did that. You can tell that the overall roof shape is pretty similar to the Taycan, although the hips of this car are a little bit different. The front and rear styling are a lot different. I have these two parked back to back, and they do look very different, this and the Taycan. I love this rear connected taillight bar back here. I said that the front lights do some amazing animation, but this really does some cool animation here. It is absolutely awesome at night. We do have our RS badge here. We have our e-tron GT badging here. We do have a pop-up spoiler, and we do have a little bit of carbon fiber down here on our diffuser. Now, in terms of practicality, the RS e-tron GT is quite a large car, but just like the Porsche Taycan, the trunk is actually not that huge. We have about 9.2 cubic feet of space back here. You can fold down those seats if you need be. This is our charge cable here sitting in the trunk so that we can get a slow charge out of it. We also have some nice grocery hooks in here. I really do wish that Audi offered an Avant version of the e-tron GT, because it would just make it a more practical vehicle overall. We do also have a power deck lid here, so you can close that automatically. And this is a dedicated EV, so we do have a front trunk as well. You actually open it with this button here on the door. It's not a very huge frunk. We can just undo the latch here, and you'll see we've got just under 2 cubic feet of storage in there. That would probably be a good place to put your charging cable so that you don't take up your main trunk. And now let's move on to the interior, where the RS e-tron is a very premium cabin. We've got these very cool RS seats with this very interesting stitch pattern here. You can see that we have Alcantara here in the center of the seat. The very edges of the seat are going to be finished in leather. These are just heated seats. You have to get an optional package that's going to add massage and ventilation that unfortunately we do not have. It's also a little bit of a different seat than what we have here. You can see that we have a glass roof option, and I really want to talk about this. It's a no-cost option, but unlike the Porsche Taycan, which has this amazing feature where it can become opaque electrochromically, this is just a static piece of glass. There is no shade, there's no cover. Honestly, I've been running the AC a lot higher because I live in Florida because of this glass roof. I don't care how tinted it is. It's just a tad uncomfortable for me, and I have to burn my range by running the AC a little bit higher, so I would probably just go for the standard roof. We do have a start button here on the RS e-tron GT. It's not one of those EVs that you just kind of sit in to start up. And the thing that I do like about this car is that everything is very familiar. If you are coming out of any gas-powered Audi, this will not be a culture shock to you. You will recognize where everything is. We have normal air vent controls. Raise the fan speed, lower the fan speed, change the temperature, adjust the air vents. Unlike the Porsche Taycan, you don't have to do that on a touchscreen. You can literally just grab the vent and change it. That is the stuff I love. The Audi virtual cockpit right here, 12.3-inch screen. That is very similar to what you're going to get on a normal Audi. You can control it here on the steering wheel. We can go ahead and make the gauges bigger or smaller, like so. We can change the style of the gauges. Very easy, very great to use. I love all of that. We also have an Alcantara wrapped steering wheel. Not the biggest fan of these because I imagine that it'll just get grubby after a little bit of a while. I probably would go for the full leather pack. It's $5,300. Gets you a suede headliner. We have a regular headliner on this model. You get Napa leather seats with ventilation and massage. So $5,300 for that package, and you can get rid of this glass roof, I believe, also for no cost. Those are the two things I would do. We also have our 10-inch touchscreen here. It's looking a little small by today's standards. I'm driving a Kia Telluride this week that has a 12.3-inch screen, so this isn't bad. It's just looking a little small for a $150,000 vehicle like we're driving, but it is very easy to use, has wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. We do have nice carbon fiber surrounding it. We've got our nice black piece here with our little e-tron logo that lights up. We also have a beautiful 360-degree camera with really nice resolution. No complaints there. No complaints with the Bang & Olufsen audio system either. We do have a pretty weird looking shifter here. You bump it this way for reverse, bump it for drive, push P for park. We do have lots of parking assist sensors as well. The actual storage space here, you have a little area here for your phone, which is fine. We've got kind of this weird spinny touch thing that is going to control your volume and radio controls, and then we do have cup holders here with a very small little binnacle behind it. So overall, I think this interior does feel really nice. I kind of wish that there was like more color options on the interior, and I would definitely go for that full leather package. All right, now let's get the RS e-tron GT out on the road. Now this is where the fun begins, because in the RS e-tron GT, we have a whopping 590 horsepower from 2 electric motors that actually goes to 637 horsepower when you use the overboost function with launch control. So why don't we try that? I'm gonna put it in dynamic mode. That's gonna prime the electric motors, and then all I have to do is put my foot on the brake, foot on the accelerator, and let go of the brake. Ready? Oh, God! Freaking, whoa! Ooh, that's a donkey kick to the head, isn't it? Oh my gosh. This thing rockets off the line in what Audi says is 3.1 seconds. But I gotta be honest, and unfortunately I don't have a stopwatch to make perfect confirmation of this, but I think that 3.1 second 0 to 60 time is an underestimation. I think that this is actually a little bit quicker than Audi says. Audi has a habit of just like underestimating all of its 0 to 60 times, and I think that the RS e-tron GT is no exception. This thing is actually quicker than the R8, their mid-engined V10 supercar. That's how quick this 4-door luxury electric sedan is. It's absolutely crazy. Now the interesting part is that the front motor of this car has a 1-speed sort of transmission like a lot of EVs, but the motor in the back, which produces 450 horsepower all on its own, actually has a 2-speed transmission. And the way that helps is a lot of EVs are actually not that fast in terms of top speed, but the RS e-tron GT will do 155 miles an hour because it has that 2-speed like the Porsche Taycan in the back, which is really interesting. I gotta do the launch control again. I'm sorry. This is one of those cars that you just want to keep doing launch controls because it's so fun. Ready? Oh! Oh my God. Woo! That is so crazy. You can kind of feel it when it goes from the first gear to the second gear. It makes a little bit of a noise. It's not super loud, even in dynamic mode, which has the loudest sort of electric propulsion sound. I'm gonna go ahead and mash the throttle again so you can hear it. It's very natural, very like EV sounding. They haven't gone for the Mercedes AMG thing where it makes really crazy noises like and like all of those kind of spaceship Star Trek-y noises. So if you're not into all of that, you'll probably be fine with the RS e-tron GT. And the next thing I want to talk about is the ride and handling. And I mentioned at the beginning of this video that the RS e-tron GT shares a lot in common with the Porsche Taycan. In other words, this drives kind of like a Porsche. This is the sharpest, most well-connected Audi I have ever driven. And you might think that something like the RS6 or the RS7 would get close because they have about the same amount of power, they're about the same size, but just given the instant acceleration from this and the fact that this steering, while not quite as sharp as the Porsche Taycan, I'd say maybe it's 8 or 9/10ths as good as the Porsche Taycan, it is by far the most connected that I feel in an Audi. I can really control that front end. A lot of other Audis have this just kind of light steering that doesn't feel as connected as I'd want it to be. This is so sharp. I absolutely love it. It feels so good. But it doesn't get rid of that typical Audi drive experience. We've got 3-chamber air suspension here, and even in the dynamic setting that I'm driving in now, it is still very comfortable. This car does not beat you up, ever. The Porsche Taycan is not brutally stiff either, but this is more comfortable than the Porsche, and that is something that I really love about the RS e-tron GT. We also optionally, as part of a package, have rear wheel steering. That is just going to improve the parkability, the overall agility of this car. I gotta tell you that Audi has integrated the rear steer really well because I just don't feel it working, and that's a good thing. when you're really going fast, you want to know exactly what the car is going to do and how it's going to respond. And a lot of cars that I drive, including Porsches with rear wheel steering, can sometimes feel a little off. You put your steering angle in and then the car steers a little bit more or a little bit less than what you were expecting. And it's not a pleasant experience. In this, I know exactly what the car is going to do, how much steering angle to give it. Oh my gosh. And the air suspension keeps me so flat and level. I can absolutely rip around these corners. I just have so much grip. This is by far the most thrilling Audi I have ever driven, and unfortunately, asterisk, I haven't really spent a lot of time in an Audi R8, but I would hazard a guess that this dynamically is on par with that, and we know it's on par in terms of acceleration times. The only thing I would say is I tend to be more restrained with my vehicle choices, and I would say that you're gonna get almost everything that you see here in the regular e-tron GT, the non-RS version. That produces 522 horsepower, so only about 70 less, not including the overboost function, than this RS model, and that still hits 60 in 3.9 seconds, which I think is plenty fast for most people. So if I was looking at one of these, I think that regular e-tron GT sounds like a really great option. All right, so now let's wrap up our time with the 2024 Audi RS e-tron GT. Remember, the one that I showed you is technically a 2023, but we're gonna go over 2024 pricing because it already exists. Now, honestly, as much as I love this RS e-tron GT, I think that the regular one is such a good deal. It's a lot less expensive, starting at $106,500 for the premium trim. But if you're spending that much, I think you might as well step up to the prestige trim, which is starting at $114,500. That still gets you 522 horsepower, 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds, and you're still getting a gorgeous looking electric Audi. If you do want the insane performance of this RS e-tron GT, it's gonna start at $147,100. That's about $3,000 more than last year's model. That's due to inflation, and you do get a few more things as standard, but that's about $7,000 more than it was in 2021. Now, we have seen the landscape change here. You've got new additions to this segment, like the Lucid Air Sapphire, which is a lot quicker than this. It's probably a lot more luxurious than this as well, but it is more expensive. I think it's like a $250,000 car, so I wouldn't really see those as competitors. And then of course you have the Porsche Taycan, which I think that the steering is a little bit better on the Taycan, but you are paying more money for that once you put all the same options on it, and if you wanted a Taycan with the same amount of power as the RS e-tron GT. This is still a really nicely balanced electric vehicle. It drives great. It accelerates like an absolute fighter jet. The only thing that I would really love to see Audi do is improve the cell chemistry of that battery somehow. As we've seen with that Q8 e-tron going from the original e-tron, they improved the range so much. If you could sell this exact car with a 300-mile range, same charging speed, everything, but just get that range to 300 miles, I think it would be pretty much perfect. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this review of the Audi RS e-tron GT. For more videos like it, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to be alerted of our latest videos. And if you want to read more about this car, be sure to check out carbuzz.com. I'll see you next time.